Welcome to the Ready, Set, Practice Mentoring Training Program. My name is Annette Ashley, and I'm the Member Services Director here with the State Bar. We're thrilled that you have taken this opportunity to become involved in a learning opportunity, and our goal is to make this as meaningful an experience to you as possible. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what this training program is going to contain for you. We are going to provide 3 different things to you today. I will be providing you information about the program, the materials, and the process. We will have some ethics information that will be provided to you, and that is going to be provided by Aviva Kaiser, who's one of our ethics counsel here at the State Bar. And then we are also going to have some very practical tips for mentors and mentees in participating in the mentorship program, and that will be provided by Jack Sweeney. Jack is the Assistant Attorney General with the Department of Justice, and he is also co-chair, along with Josh Keinkeppel, of the Dane County Mentoring Program. So we're very fortunate to have their involvement and share with us some practical things they've learned as they've been involved in the mentoring program at the Dane County level. So I want to just start by letting you know that the program that you are going to be participating in was actually created through the efforts of 3 different organizations. Not only was the State Bar of Wisconsin involved, but also the University of Wisconsin Law and Entrepreneurship Clinic and Wilmick Insurance Company played a large role in the creative thought process and also bringing everything together to provide this program to you. Just to kind of give you a little information about some of the program goals that we have, it's our interest and our goal of providing opportunities for new lawyers to expand your knowledge and experience. It's so important at this stage in your career to build a solid foundation within your practice from which to grow, and we're hoping that along with establishing that solid foundation, that we also with this mentoring program will have people in parts of the state out there that will be able to help others who are interested in participating in this program. So we're really looking at your participation level as furthering the efforts of helping other new lawyers as well. Mentees were selected in this program to give some geographical diversity so that, again, we can take this program outside of areas where they may already have programs in place. And above all, we want to create a meaningful experience for you. Last year was our first year. It was our pilot year. It was based on ideas and suggestions that we received from people who participated in the program that we've actually incorporated some of those changes. And we're eager for your suggestions and feedback as you continue to go through the program. Now, I did mention that this program is meant to enhance other programs that are in place. We're very fortunate with having Jack's input a little bit later on some of the practical things they've learned at the Dane County program, or in Dane County with their program. Milwaukee County has a program as well, and we're hoping that we can just provide more opportunities for new lawyers as a result of adding this type of a program at the State Bar. So let's just take a look at some of the things to keep in mind as you prepare to start off your year in the mentorship program. So we do encourage people to run it on a calendar year basis. We think that that's just a little easier to jump in January and then go ahead and fulfill the meetings and discussions and things like that throughout the year. We've tried to put together great materials to make things as easy as possible for you. So what I'm going to do next is kind of walk through some of those materials, where you find it. We wanted to give you some things to think about in preparing for your first meeting with your mentor in terms of you as a mentee. And for the mentors, we also wanted to give you some things to think about and just sort of preparing your mindset and thinking about what types of things might be really helpful for mentees to learn. So with that, we're going to start with how you can actually access the materials and get started for your first meeting. So you can access materials, and in fact, most of you already have been provided with links and everything like that, but I'm going to walk through, just in case you have trouble finding that email that contains everything you need. I'm going to show you how you can access the information from our WISPAR website. So there are two ways that you can do this. You'll see from the picture on the screen, you can either just go directly to the wispar.org website. When you log into For Members and go to Member Benefits, or Membership and Benefits, excuse me, you'll see on the very bottom right-hand corner there on the slide that it says Ready, Set, Practice at that on the bottom. There is another way that you can log in and get materials. You can use the short URL that's been provided, wispar.org/mentoring program. Now, the reason I showed you how to access the materials just from the WISPAR website was because we also have another resource meant for new lawyers that not everyone realizes is there and available, and that is our new lawyer resource page. If you go into wispar.org and you go to Member Benefits, you will access this before you get to the mentoring page. You'll see at the very bottom of this slide there is a Ready, Set, Practice mentoring program yellow icon, and it's by clicking on that you can get to the materials for your mentoring program as well. But I encourage you to take a moment, take a look at the new lawyer resources that are contained on this page. We've tried to create these resources with new lawyers in mind, and I feel that there is a wealth of information there for you, all gathered into one place to make things very easy for you to find. And as new members of the bar, we want to make things easy for you. We want to put information in front of you conveniently. And so I thought it would be very helpful to just take a moment and mention this. So when you click on that, when you get to the Ready, Set, Practice, either by clicking on the yellow icon on the page that I just showed you, or you put in the short URL, however you got there, here's what you will see on the Ready, Set, Practice website. I want you to pay attention to the very bottom of this slide where you see the box that says Quick Links. This is what it looks like up close. You'll see that materials are identified by their names. And what I'm going to do is walk through and actually show you some of the most important materials that I really want you to take advantage of and take a look at, become familiar with, and pull them out, because it will really help you prepare to make this a great first meeting and a great year in the mentorship program. And one of the reasons that we are kind of going to this extent is because we learned last year that not everyone took the time to take a look at the materials we had provided. And I think that it really did add some time. It wasn't quite as convenient for people if they didn't take advantage of some of these materials. So bear with me. I'm going to walk through and we're going to make sure that you realize all of the information there so that it helps you even more to have a great experience. So on the quick links at the top, you'll see Getting Started. Getting Started provides you with a few really great documents. One is the initial meeting guide, and there it gives you some things to think about, things specifically meant for the mentor, things that are intended for the mentee, but that will help you just sort of get a better feel for maybe some of the areas of interest you need to identify, some of the questions you might need to identify, some of the things to focus on when you have that first meeting with your mentor. Again, under Getting Started, there's a mentee checklist. Now, a couple of the things that we point out on the mentee checklist for you to do is to take a look at the handbook, areas that you want to identify as things that you would like to learn, some goals you might consider setting, things like that, so that, again, when you sit down with the mentor, you're going to have a better conversation as a result of doing some of this planning in advance. And likewise, we also put together a mentor checklist. Some of the things you might want to think about are, when you were a young lawyer, what were some of the greatest things that people shared with you and helped you as you began to overcome some of the challenges that new lawyers face. So again, it's just some things for you to think about, kind of create that mindset, and by doing so, I think you have a much more productive first meeting. Under the second column, you'll see Mentoring Handbook is the second item there. When you click on Mentoring Handbook, that's the first page of what you will see. Now, this is a resource I really want to encourage you all to take a look at. You'll see the table of contents actually goes through and identifies where some of these other forms are located. But one of the best things about the table, or about the Mentoring Handbook, is the actual ideas and areas for the mentor and the mentee to focus on. There are practice areas split out into the list that you see right there on the screen. I think it's something like 24 or 25 topics that you can take a look at. Certainly, some lawyers are interested in one set of topics. This is meant for you to be able to look at and tailor to the areas you either practice in and want to learn more about, or the areas in which you hope to be able to practice in and really want to have some opportunity to learn more. Just to give you an example, if you were to choose family law, and you'll see the slide at the bottom actually gives you a better idea of how this information is organized. Under family law, you'll see the pull-out portion there. You might want to review and discuss the rules of civil procedure. You might want to discuss rules, trial court rules. You might want to actually go along and observe a trial. You might want to go along and actually observe a deposition. There's various petitions and forms and things like that. This might be something that you could learn more about from a mentor if you identified family law as an area you wanted to immerse yourself in and learn more about. So all of those areas that we listed on the last slide, you'll find specific ideas listed so that you can actually go through and tailor it to your liking. Now, we also include information, or we recommend some more general professional types of areas too, not necessarily case law specific. And you'll see some of those are just simply for the mentor, taking your mentee around to the legal community, introducing them to everyone at the courthouse, helping them to make those connections within the legal community that will be very helpful for them as they progress and build their practice. You might want to focus on rules of professional conduct, working with clients, client intakes, things like that. You might want to help them in law office management in terms of, in the past we've had some people identify that eventually they would like to be a solo practitioner and have their own law firm. This might be an excellent opportunity to focus on some of those things. So just something else to consider that's outside of a specific practice area. And then along with these more broad general categories, we also have specific activities that are suggested here too. So all with the idea in mind of making this as easy as possible for you to pick this up, step into it, and not really spend a great deal of time with the planning on your own. We're big into saving time for very busy people like you. The last thing that I want to call your attention to is the mentoring plan. This is something I would strongly encourage taking with you to your first meeting that you're going to be setting up with your mentor. It is a way for you to identify exactly what you hope to accomplish, maybe set some dates. We do encourage every pair to complete 10 activities within the course of a year. And that gives you some leeway when it's vacation time during the summer or crazy busy time around the holidays. But we hope that eventually throughout the year you'll be able to accomplish 10 things. So by kind of scheduling out or tentatively just penciling your dates that you're going to target and then checking them off when you've actually completed it, you should be able to stay on track and help yourself work through that the programming for the course of that year. One of the things I also want to mention is that the mentoring plan, don't look at that as something that's set in stone. Sit down at the beginning of the year, take a look at your mentoring plan when you meet, when you complete the activities, and if you had an activity or an idea that you had targeted that something happens and changes, don't feel like that's something that's set in stone and you have to, build some flexibility into it, in other words. For instance, you may have a deposition coming up, and one of the activities was to maybe have someone come along and watch a deposition. And say the case settles and there's no deposition. So, you can wait for another event, you can maybe slide something else into that. It might be that you, as a mentor, give a fact pattern to a mentee and say, how would you come up, what kinds of questions would you come up with to have a deposition on, and work from it from that perspective instead. So, there's just build some flexibility into it and adjust if necessary. But please don't feel free to be locked into the mentoring plan should things change. I wanted to let you know that we are very interested in your feedback. If, as you are going through the program, you have ideas or suggestions, feel free to let us know. We're always interested in your ideas and any way that we can make this program better and more meaningful to everyone who is participating. For you as mentors and mentees, you will be receiving some surveys from us. We try to send out surveys I think 2 to 3 times a year, just to get some feedback and see how things are going. If there's a point in time when either of you have trouble reaching the other party that you've been paired up with, you should always feel free to get in touch with us. We will help with making the contact and checking to see if there's an issue that's surfaced, a scheduling issue or something like that that has created a problem, and we will be happy to help with getting those kinds of things taken care of as well. And we will also be sending out information and tips from time to time. I know as a young lawyer, sometimes it's daunting to build that professional network. So one of the things that we have heard from our past mentees, is that information on how to make that easier would be helpful for new lawyers. So what we're hoping to do is send out that type of practical information for you, tips and advice, and maybe even share with you any upcoming events that you might be able to go to work on that kind of a thing. We also have on our website, you'll see the bar at the top with the quick links. There is a frequently asked questions portion, and you should feel free to check that out. That is based on questions that have come in previously, so again, it's based on experience that mentees and mentors have had with the program previously. Again, just a review of the materials that we went over. It's so important to take a moment and actually walk through them, because I think in the long run you'll find that they are hugely time-saving for you. And lastly, our State Bar staff liaison to the mentoring program is Megan Zurbergen. Megan's information is contained in that slide, so feel free to email or call Megan and let us know if there's anything else that we can do for you. So with that, I wish you good luck. Again, we're thrilled that you're a part of this. I think it's an amazing opportunity. We want to make this meaningful for you, so please let us know if there's anything we can do to improve or provide better instructions or information in any way. So, and lastly, feel free to call us with any questions. We're here to help you, and we're excited to see where this takes you. Thank you.